Of darkness, and as we begin to approach the end of the age, this activity will be intensified. And because this activity will be intensified, you cannot go forward without a prophetic word. In Galatians chapter 1 verse 4, the Bible calls this age an evil age. This age is an evil age. In Psalm 74 verse 20, it said the dark places of the earth are the dwellings of the habitations of cruelty. And so there is cruelty in the dark places of the earth. And then you ask yourself, where are the dark places of the earth? You would think it's a packet of different locations. No. Isaiah 60 verse 1 said, the whole earth will be covered with darkness. And it said, gross darkness will cover the people. So everywhere on earth is the habitation of cruelty. The reason you will excel is because you have a word that has become a light. Because the light shines in the darkness. And the darkness comprehended it not. And so the idea of the prophetic word is to give you an insurance as you walk through the year. So you need to have the consciousness requirement, and you also need to have the obedience requirement for the words to speak for you. However, before I talk to us from the plane of the word the Lord has given to us, let me show you a few things that will happen. So you can take this word very seriously. Because by the help of God, some of us have gleaned into the future to see some of the things that will happen. And usually I don't come out to say these things because I was not heading any spiritual tribe. And so all I did was to stay under where I was kept. And any word God gives to me, I use it to formulate my teaching and my doctrine for that year. But now that I'm heading a tribe, it's necessary that I say it so men can catch it and run with it. You see, I will stand upon my watch and I will see what he will say to me. And he said, write the vision, make it plain upon tables that he may run. So now we need people to run with these words because they are committed to what we are doing. And so this is why this service being the first in the year is necessary for us to establish this counsel, precept upon precept and line upon line. See this thing now, time is a body. I'm looking at this time. It's now affecting the depth I want to go to. The depth. Because there is a place if I can't travel far because of time. Let me outline a few things. I'll try to summarize. Because I also need to pray for certain supernatural things to happen in your life. If all you are experiencing is what the unbeliever is experiencing, then what makes you a witness? Our life ought to be supernatural. People should not be able to deny it, but they should also not be able to explain it. So when they look at you, they can't explain what is happening to you or with you, but they can't deny it. What others are doing that is taking them 10 years, you are doing it in 6 months. And they are now trying to caution you. Hope you are not in a rush. Then you now double it. Especially those of us in Africa. It's only in Africa that it's believed you should start living your life at 40. As if the God we are serving in Africa is different from the one they are serving in America. You go to America, people at the age of 19 are inventing things that we are buying in Africa for millions. The other day, a professor went for a seminar in the United States. Some professors from Nigeria who they've been lecturers for 30 years. And you know, when you have advanced, sometimes you leave your BS as a sign that you have been here for a while. And when they entered the seminar as professors, the people who came to represent America, one was 19, the other one was 23. Those are those seeking admission in Nigeria. God will shift us. This God, He will shift us. We don't look down on process, but we also will not become mediocres in the name of process. Process is not time bound, it's obedience bound. Okay, let me leave it. Hallelujah. So let me outline a few things that will happen this year. Some deliberately orchestrated from the demonic realm to give you advantage. Number one, there will be a very strong sponsorship of the spirit of perversion and the operations of perversion. And these are signs of judgment and the end. Every time a civilization is beginning to approach the end, one of the things that takes center stage is perversion. Because perversion is one thing that invokes the judgment of God. Perversion is one thing that truncates God's program, alters God's program, and mutilates God's program. And so when the devil tries everything and it's not working, and he wants to truncate God's agenda, he begins to sponsor perversion. If you study Genesis chapter 6, the Bible said the sons of God looked upon the daughters of men, and they slept with them, and they gave birth to Nephilims, the giants. The moment God saw it, God destroyed the earth. If God's ordinances are altered, there's no room, there's no mercy that makes allowance for perversion. In the city of Sodom and Gomorrah was the place where homosexuality took center stage. The moment the cup of that iniquity was full, it was God himself that came down to study it, to find out what was going on. And the moment he saw that homosexuality and all forms of perversion had taken over that civilization was wiped out. Because there is zero level tolerance for perversion. And so every time a civilization is coming to an end, one of the things demons sponsor is perversion. This is why the LGBTQ movement will take center stage. It will become more aggressive. And this time around, they will not just push it forcefully. They will begin to victimize and antagonize voices and systems that rise up against it. I didn't know this was a serious matter until mid last year, when I began to attack LGBTQ. We now notice that they started silencing all my messages online. Many countries, they mute the message, and then they stop sending notification on the platforms that seemed innocent. But they are princes that want to make sure perversion takes center stage. Because this is one of the things that destroy the souls of men. When God finds perversion in a man, he lets go of him. In Romans chapter 1 from verse 18, he said, because they choose not to retain God in their knowledge, he left them to a reprobate man. There are two things a man will do that God will leave him. Number one is perversion, and number two is blasphemy. Anytime you allow these two things happen, your heart is corrupt. Even God will leave you. If you blaspheme and you perverse, it will be difficult for you to come back. And so one of the things the devil will do in these last days is perversion. Many persons travel to Canada, travel to London, travel to United States, and they start telling you, I'm no longer ashamed of my feelings. This is who I am. Who told you that? Where did you read it from? What did you study to know who you are? What are the scrolls you are looking at? But they've created systems to darken the souls of men. And so a young lady tells you she feels like a man, so she's a man. It's a strategy of the devil. And these things will take center stage in this very year that we are in. And so it's important for you to guard yourself with discernment. This is why you cannot live on the internet as if it's your home. Because these things are not just mental operations. There is a spirit behind it. And if your soul is not strong and you expose yourself to some of these contents for a while, it will begin to choke your soul. The first time you look at a woman kissing a woman, you will be offended. It will be like an arrow. After a while, it will become normal. And then after a while, if you are not careful, you too will start being attracted to your same sex. And you won't know what is going on. It's a spirit. It's one of the most aggressive spirits in the spirit realm. And so the devil will advance perversion in a very drastic manner. And any voice or any system that rises up against it will literally be crushed.
I will not end like this. No.